There's a new app in town worth $1 billion, and that app is called Clubhouse. And today I'm going to tell you not only what is Clubhouse, but maybe how you can leverage it and some tips and tricks to make it work for you. My name is Squibb. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 18 companies. 13 of them I started with no money. My last company, Fluid, I sold to PwC. I've invested in 68 startups, and I've written a book about luck and how important it is to have luck to succeed in business. Now let's talk about Clubhouse. If you already know what Clubhouse is, you might want to skip this bit. And this is my version, about a minute. Just let me explain what Clubhouse is. I think the best way to describe it is really LinkedIn on steroids. There's an element to Clubhouse which is a very event-based structure. So imagine in the old days, before coronavirus, when we used to go to an event, perhaps you'd walk down the corridor and bump into someone and say hello, but then you'd go into a room, you'd sit in the audience and you'd listen to really interesting people on stage talking about subjects that matter to you. In my case, I'm always in entrepreneur rooms, in social media rooms, trying to understand what I don't know or learn what I don't know. And this whole structure of Clubhouse is very much built around a virtual event. So you can go on Clubhouse, if you can get an invite, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You can go on Clubhouse and then you can basically go and sit in rooms and listen to really interesting people, chat and share knowledge. And then you can put your hand up, go on stage, ask your question, or become part of the actual group sharing the knowledge and start sharing what you know with the audience listening. Now, Clubhouse itself has some really interesting elements to it. I'll just say, first of all, I think that it could well be that Clubhouse is the MySpace of social media. So in other words, what could come next is Facebook. But if you want to know what is going to happen in the online world with things like events and social media, you have to go check out Clubhouse. Now, if you can't get an invite onto Clubhouse, and this is one of the clever things that I think they've done, is they've created what we call the nightclub effect, right? The popular nightclub effect, which is where, in my day, it used to be that you'd have to queue up to get into the nightclub. And the nightclub would often be empty. They wouldn't let anyone in yet. And then they'd let everyone in at once, and there was a desire factor to getting into the nightclub. That's exactly what Clubhouse have done. It's very clever. If you want to get into Clubhouse, you have to be invited. So I got invited back in December 2020 to go into Clubhouse, and then once I've got that invite and I'm in, I get 5 invites that I can give to people. Now, I've actually got 1 invite left still, so if you're watching this video and I haven't given it away yet, feel free to drop me a comment down below that you want to come and be a part of this system, and I'll make sure you get an invite. Now, there is another way to get into Clubhouse if you don't know someone that's got an invite and wants to get you in. So the other way to get into Clubhouse is to download the app and go onto the waiting list. And then once you're on the waiting list, you can tag a friend that you know is in Clubhouse, someone like me. I'm on Clubhouse, but I don't have any more invites to give you. But if you tag me when you join up, then I can go and accept you and bring you into the community. And it's created a really interesting beta. When I'm on Clubhouse, the caliber of the people there, the way people interact, the way people are respectful of the system. For example, when people go on stage, you have the ability to shout and be rude. And actually, most people don't. There's a real quality to it. I'm going to say business people, professionalism, people have a reputation to keep intact. Someone described Clubhouse to me recently as being on a game of Survivor. You know, you've got to be very careful how you act and how you operate once you get inside Clubhouse. You do have a reputation to uphold and a brand to represent. But remember the rules in Clubhouse, and if you do, you won't get banned, people won't block you, and you won't get hated by other people on the app. So make sure you know these do's and don'ts. And here are the 2 main do's and don'ts I want to share with you. The first do. Make sure you fill out your bio properly on Clubhouse. A lot of people are not hooking up their Twitter and their Instagram to their Clubhouse profile. And make sure in the first sentence of your Clubhouse profile, you're really crisp and straight to the point about who you are and what you're after from being involved in any forums, any events on there. So many people ramble on in their profile, they don't make it clear what they're actually after. So in my profile it says, I've written a book about luck, and I'm here to help 1 million people start a business of their own. It's clear what I'm about, and up front I'm pitching what I'm pitching. And I think that is the key. Make sure your bio is clearly filled out. I would also say, make sure when you go in there, you actually listen more than you talk, especially for the first 3 or 4 days. Don't be too eager to go on stage. You get one chance to make an impression with a lot of the key stakeholders within the ecosystem and take your time to represent yourself properly. The tip I found when talking on stage, and I am a good public speaker, is still to write down the things I'm trying to get across, because once you get on stage, surprisingly, it can still be quite nerve-wracking. Even I've got a little bit nervous going into some of those rooms and going on stage, and I've spoken in real stages in the real world to thousands of people, yet voice is very interesting. When it's just voice, there's no body language that you can leverage to push your message through. So in people's voice, you can hear the nervousness. And so make sure when you go into a room and you start to speak, for example, to come into one of my rooms and pitch your business, or come into one of my rooms and ask questions from the people that are in that event, you've got to be very clear what you need. Do not ramble. People get bored, especially when it's just voice. There's no body language to keep them entertained. So you have to be super, super, super crisp. Now, the definite element of Clubhouse that you need to know, in my view, is be very careful with your mental health in this app. I am personally addicted to the platform. Of course, that's one element. We all know about social media addiction, but there's another level to this app that I think is quite dangerous, and I want you guys to be careful. Some of the rooms that you go into, there are very intimidating people in there with powerful voices, and I think you've got to be very careful you don't end up feeling small. I am personally a successful person, very confident, but in some of those rooms, I listen to some of those people and their achievements and their way they put things. I'm scared to speak. I don't want to be, they slam you, they tell you your pitch is rubbish, they tell you I don't believe you have to charge money from people, for example. So I went on stage saying, I think free has value. And then I was slammed by everybody in the group. Before I had a chance to explain the second part of why I think free has value, I think free has value because those that can't afford to pay need free. And once you give someone that can't afford to pay something free that they need, there's nothing more valuable to them in life. But they didn't let me say that. So I just went on stage and said, I'm offering help for free. Then I'm on mute and all this group starts kind of piling on me. And some of them, are pretty successful people. So you have to have, I'm going to say, a tough skin. You have to be able to fight back. You have to be patient to prove your brand over time in platforms like Clubhouse as well as others. But I would say to you, if you're going to go into this platform, stand strong, be who you are, don't fake it, just be genuine. And the real people inside Clubhouse will find you. You will find your tribe, which I think is another real benefit of Clubhouse. Within that ecosystem, you can find your tribe. So for me, I'm going to call it gentle entrepreneurs that are successful as opposed to aggressive entrepreneurs. I'm finding my tribe of gentle entrepreneurs, but we've got a lot to share, we've got a lot to give, but you have to find those people that suit you. And that's my tribe I'm finding on there. Now, I would also say, finally, when you go on Clubhouse, the best way to make it really work for you is to go in there with the mindset of how can you help people there. Do not go in there to sell. If you do, not only will you get distanced by people, you will find it won't work for you. Go in there and bring value. Go in there and help people for free, ironically. And I promise you, you will get the most out of Clubhouse if you do those few things. If you decide that you want to create a room on Clubhouse, then I have a couple of recommendations for you on the steps. First of all, try to have a second or third moderator that can join you and support you, that maybe has their own network. So I've got 1,000 followers at the time of making this video. I've got 1,000 followers on Clubhouse. So I can pick from those amazing people on my network there to come and join me as a moderator or join me as a contributor to discussions. And second thing to do, a kind of trick, I guess, that I've noticed on Clubhouse, is to team up with someone that's got an existing group. So if you know someone that has a big group already and you make them a moderator and part of it, they can then invite that group that they're a part of to join your discussion and join your room. And then when you're moderating the room, I strongly recommend that you're quite strict on what you're trying to do there. So for example, if you're asking people to come on stage and pitch, as I have done in some of my rooms, you say to people, please pitch within 2 minutes, and then you give a succinct answer and give people value, but then move on to the people that are waiting in the queue. If you wait too long, people get bored, they drop off. People are not patient. If you're still listening to this video right now, you deserve an award. You will probably be very successful because patience and listening and learning takes time, but not everyone will wait. So when managing a group, managing a room, you have to keep it fast moving, keep it exciting, and keep it on topic. That's it, folks. I hope you found this insight into Clubhouse useful. If you did, feel free to share it. If you want access to Clubhouse, hit me up below. If you are on Clubhouse already and you want me to follow you or invite you into my rooms, then let me know below. Drop your handle of Clubhouse down below in the comments, and I will add you on and bring you into any of the events that I'm doing on Clubhouse to help people start a business, grow a business, raise money, figure out marketing, leverage social media. If any of those topics will be interesting to you, then do hit the like button on here, and don't forget to subscribe. And a reminder, once you've subscribed, hit the alarm bell on YouTube in particular, because that means you'll get a notification we're going live. We go live every day pretty much with some useful content on how to start businesses, how to grow businesses. I have experts come on to my podcast show and share their knowledge, where we also interview the world's most successful entrepreneurs, and they give you their knowledge of how they did it in real time. So if you want it in real time, then hit that alarm bell. Thanks, folks. I hope you enjoy it. I hope to see you on Clubhouse. And thanks again for joining my long video today on Clubhouse. I hope you got value from it.